What's up, everybody? It's been a while. Actually, took a little bit of a break from doing these live streams, especially the Saturday ones. So let's give it a few minutes for the chat to trickle in. I gave no announcement for this. This was completely impromptu. So Flo did his Friday night thing last night, and I was going to take a break until our Sunday show, but I felt inspired. I was like, you know what? Let me get back on the live stream, talk a little Canes with you guys. So we got a little bit of news. We had a decommitment from the class already, which I don't think anyone is shocked by. If you're shocked by this decommitment, you're probably one of the same football fans that think Jordan Travis is a better quarterback than Tyler Van Dyke, which would mean you probably don't know much about football or recruiting. So that being said, before I get to that, let's congratulate the Canes baseball team, basketball team, both men and women. First with the basketball teams. They both played their first round games yesterday. The women won in a little more dominant fashion. I think they won by 12 against USF. And then you got the men's team who squeaked by USC. It was a hard-fought victory, but the guys battled as a well-coached Jim Larrañaga team does. Charlie Moore made some unbelievable plays. Isaiah Wong started off hot with 13 straight points to begin the Canes offense. And unfortunately, he fouled out of the game with a few minutes to go. He was in foul trouble kind of early. They wouldn't think that the foul calls in the men's basketball game were very ticky-tack. I mean, I felt like anytime they breathed on somebody, they called a foul, which can be annoying. But either way, they got the victory. They did it with sloppy play towards the end. They had a 7-point lead with like a minute to go, almost coughed it up. So costly turnovers. And then, of course, you had the fact that Miami only shot like 1 of 15 from 3 or something like that. And that's not going to happen. Usually when that happens, you got a good 3-point shooting team. I see it with the Heat all the time. They have a horrible night. They go 4 of 19 or something like that. Usually they start off hot the very next game. It usually tends to balance out. So look for Miami to get hot early against Auburn. Hopefully they have a good game plan and they're ready because Auburn's a 2 seed. That's going to be a very tough game. And I think – but we're going to be a tough game for Auburn as well. I don't think we're a team that any of those higher seeds wants to play in the second round. I think they were hoping for an easier draw because Miami's not a true 10 seed. Let me tell you, Miami's been underranked all season. They've been ranked like in the I don't think it's called the RPI anymore. I don't know. I'm behind on that stuff. But Miami was ranked like in the 60s nationally for a good portion of the season. And this was after they beat Duke. This was after they blew out North Carolina. This was beating teams like Wake Forest and Virginia Tech. Yet those teams were all ranked ahead of us. I don't know. This team is 10-2 on the road. They're very comfortable traveling. So they're very comfortable playing away from Coral Gables, which is good. That's the sign of a well-coached, mature team. So let's see if Coach Larrañaga can get us past Auburn and get us over that Sweet 16 hump. Jim Larrañaga's gotten us to the Sweet 16 2 times since 2013. And there were a couple other times, maybe that Lonnie Walker year in 2018, I want to say. That year, that should have been a Sweet 16, maybe even an Elite 8 appearance. We had Bruce Brown and Lonnie Walker on the same team. But, injuries happen and whatnot. But anyway, hopefully we can get over that hump and, maybe get to an Elite 8 or a Final Four. Who knows? We've seen stranger things from that same coach. Remember, he did it with George Mason many years ago. Cane Life, what's going on? Supreme Goon, Birdstone, good to see you guys. Just wanted to address the basketball stuff real quick. Congrats to them. They move on. They advance. And the teams that lost in the first round, well, they go home. So they're among the remaining 32 teams left battling it out. So you got the baseball team beat Clemson last night 11-4. I'll be honest, I've yet to look up the stats and look up who did what. But 11-4 in a baseball game is pretty self-explanatory. We scored a bunch of runs and they didn't. Our pitching was probably very good, which is nice to see. And hopefully they keep that going because pitching has been a big issue for this team so far. Anyways, let's get back to the real reason we're here, football. First of all, Andy Jean, Miami Northwestern commit, 3-4-star recruit, depending on the rankings you see, was committed to Miami and now has decided to decommit. I personally am not super shocked by this with the amount of talent and guys like Jaylen Brown and Brandon Innes, within a 30-mile drive of Coral Gables, especially Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's literally 10 minutes down the street. And when you got guys of that caliber in your backyard, it happens. And look, I predicted after spring, by the end of spring, there's probably going to be 9 guys in total transferring out. We've already had like 1 or 2 since I said that. I think it's going to be more. It could be like close to the teens. But, we'll see what happens. There's going to be a lot of roster turnover, more than I thought. Maybe not to a Michigan State level because they had a little less talent than at the time than Miami does now, I believe. So I think you're going to see a lot of guys seek greener pastures elsewhere, and you're going to see a lot of turnover because I think Mario and this staff is expecting a lot of elite guys to hit the portal. And some of the rumors I've heard, of course, I don't want to, you don't want to, the transfer portal, you got to be careful. You don't want to say, oh, I heard this guy's leaving. Oh, I heard that guy's leaving. You saw it with, I think it was Barry Jackson who kind of broke it before Tyreek Stevenson himself got a chance to say it. When you do that, it's kind of like, imagine you got a job offer, but you haven't told your company yet. Well, you want to have that offer in writing and you want it to all be official before you tell your old company that, hey, I'm giving my 2 weeks. But if somebody blurts it out and, lets the cat out of the bag, then you might burn that bridge with where he's at. So got to be careful. But from the names I'm hearing, specifically at linebacker, in the secondary, there's some big names that may very likely be hitting the portal soon. If they do, Miami's going to jump all over that. And these are guys that can start immediately and make an impact. So be patient, guys. A lot of turnover going to be happening. And that's just with the guys on the team right now. You're going to see it now in the recruiting class. Now, we only had 3 commits. So not possible to have that much turnover, but a guy like Andy Jean, I wish him well. He's from the crib. We got to support him. So he's going to go play for a team that's a better fit for him, I think. I saw his tape, and he reminds me a lot of Quan Lee, who ended up decommitting from us and going to UCF. Probably a good move for him. But yeah, guys like Innes and Santana Fleming and Jaylen Brown, and there's another big name. I can't place it right now. You guys probably tell me in the chat. There are a lot of big names at wideout coming out. A lot of big names at running back. Don't worry, we're going to get some elite guys at the skill position. So I'm not too concerned. That being said, best wishes to Andy G. And I hope he was very classy with his message that he tweeted out. So I think he's a good young man. He seems like a hardworking kid. I think he's gonna do fine. Hakeem Williams, that's another name. Robbie Washington. I think there's another name I'm thinking of. I think he's like a 5-star. He's like a 5-star receiver. If I see the name, I'll remember. Got to see the break. Hydration. Cheers. But yeah, all very talented guys. Good morning. Negus, what's going on? Please answer my question. I would like your thoughts on that. What was your question? What up, Kane? Did you ask me a question, Birdstone? I didn't see it. If you don't mind, ask it again, please. Carnell Tate. That's the guy. Thank you, Birdstone. Yes. Carnell Tate. That's the guy I'm thinking of. But yeah, I'm just saying in general, the caliber of wide receiver talent and skill position talent in South Florida is just stupid. It's ridiculous this year. So, there's a lot of time between now and signing day. I don't think it would be wise for Miami to fill up a couple spots on guys that, could turn out to be great players. But do you want to roll the dice on a 3-star, or do you want to grab a 4 or 5-star and develop that guy? I mean, we're not sitting at the kiddie table anymore, guys. We kind of have our pick as far as recruiting. We can sit in any 5-star's living room and it'll be a battle. So, that's the situation with Andy Jean. Since I wanted to, like I said a couple episodes ago, I wanted to touch on a few possible, Cane targets. And, as we get more into recruiting season, every show I wanted to talk on a couple of prospects. And, there's Birdstone's question. 1 second. Do you think Miami versus USC across all sports is great for college sports? I personally do. And I think it would be the next big rivalry. Funny you mentioned that, because I think it was Colin Cowherd somewhere. I think he tweeted it that Miami's going to be playing USC in the tournament. This is a preview of the football natty in 3 years or something like that. And hey, I think those were the two best head coaching hires this season: Cristobal and who they got. Why can I place his name right now? The guy from Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley. So yeah, don't be surprised if Miami and USC is back in the next couple years. It wouldn't shock me one bit, because now finally the head coach, the coaching staffs are in place for both teams. I don't know what the situation is money-wise in USC, but Miami now, for the first time in 18, 20 years, has the financial backing after Donna Shalala pulled the plug on that and basically said, hey, athletics, you guys, eat what you kill. We're going to keep all this lucrative university. We're going to keep all that money for ourselves. Athletics, ticket sales, you guys work with that. No program does that. So little did we know back in 2001, 2002, Donna Shalala gave us a little stab to the heart, and it was a slow, painful death over the years. But like our guest the other night, Tolbert Bain said, the nightmare's over. So enough of that. You agree with Mr. Hurd? Okay, I do too. Anyway, talk about a couple of recruits. Conveniently, the first guy I wanted to mention was Raul Aguirre. Raul Aguirre, however he pronounces it, is a linebacker from the Georgia area. He was on the Sebastian Lane show. That's why I say conveniently, because we just heard him talk to our guys on Thursday. If you didn't see that, go check it out. Great interview on Sebastian Lane. He's a 6'2", 220-pound linebacker, perfect size for this defense. He's a bigger guy, which is what Kevin Steele likes. Bigger, long, athletic linebacker. He can rush the passer. He can drop back into coverage. He can do it all. Go watch his tape. I really loved one specific thing about him. Whenever he's, taking on blockers, or there's a toss or a handoff or something, that dude's eyes are on the running back or on the ball carrier the entire time. He's low in his stance. He uses his hands well. He's not afraid to pop the blocker in the mouth and go get that running back. The dude's legit. I would love to see Coach Hayes' take on it. I don't know if he's done a video already. He knows a lot more than I do, obviously, but man, that dude's tape it looks to me, his technique just stands out from many other linebackers. And on top of that, he's very explosive. Popo, we need him in this class. Sounds like he wants to be a Cane, very versatile, very violent. Yep. Yeah. Oh, and watching Raul Aguirre's huddle, I did notice that a lot of the graphics were orange and green. Like the whole thing was orange and green. So I don't know. Throwing that out there. Tyler Williams, Jalen Brown, Nathaniel Joseph, Hakeem Williams. Get me those 4. Man, you get me those 4, I'm good. Let's talk about the receivers for a second, because that's been a topic of conversation since spring started. I know they haven't looked very good. They've had some drops. They haven't played to the caliber that they're used to playing. I'm not too concerned. There's a lot of time. They're installing a new offense. It's a much more complicated offense in a good way. So there's a lot more to absorb. There's a lot more thinking happening out there. And when there's too much thinking happening out there, you have mistakes like drops, which is why the install in the spring and them practicing in the summer and all that stuff is very important. So good to get the mistakes out of the way now. The big question is, who's going to step up from the wide receivers? It could be George. It could be Brashard. It could be Brinson. I like any one of those 3. The one I like the most, if I had to pick one of the 3 amigos, it'd probably be Brashard Smith. Reminds me a lot of Percy Harvin, like that style of player that you could just line him up anywhere, and you better put a really fast corner on him, because if not, he's gone. He's going to the house. And if you get any kind of a mismatch on him, forget it. He's taking it around the edge and taking it to your end zone. So Brashard Smith, I think, is the guy that's closest to being that elite, first round caliber speed. Jacoby George, very quick, very fast. Brinson, same thing. They're both very smooth, great route runners. Brinson needs to shore up the hands a little bit. I have no doubt he'll do that. He has, that's a mental thing. I think he'll be fine. And he has no choice. He has to, with the guys coming in behind him. Look at these 4 names down there. So I think we're going to be fine at wide receiver. These guys are going to play, X is going to do his thing. They're going to play their role. They're going to do it nicely. I don't think there's going to be a weak link in that chain. If there's going to be one guy emerging as the guy, it could be Brashard. It could be Frank Ladson if he stays healthy. You never know. But I think someone will. There's too much talent there, and I think they got the coaching staff and the quarterback throwing to them to do it. And you got to factor this in. Over the years, aside from maybe like a Philip Dorsett, or momentarily it looked like Amon Richards was going to be that guy, but then he dealt with the injuries. He would have been that guy for sure. Amon Richards was just better than everybody else. When you don't have that consistent quarterback, that elite quarterback getting you the ball, and when you don't have a great O-line giving that quarterback time to throw, the wide receiver numbers are going to suffer. And that's what's been happening for the better part of 15 years. So just wanted to throw that out there. I think this receiver group is going to be pretty strong. It's not going to be like past years where a transfer just comes in this case Ladson, and just outclasses everybody. Or, the way KJ Osborne came in and just outclassed everyone. He just looked like a man amongst boys. Or the way Rambo did last year, just looked, again, the other guys just looked like decent college players, and he looked like an NFL guy. That being said, certain guys, are graduated. Some of those young guys, George, Brinson, X, they got valuable playing time last year as freshmen and sophomores, especially Jacoby and Brinson as true freshmen. Brashard Smith, a lot of valuable playing time as a true freshman. Usually that big jump is from your freshman to your sophomore year, right? So don't be surprised if one of those guys emerges as first team All-ACC, maybe even All-American caliber. We got to get back to that. And I think the chances of that happening are pretty decent. Let's see. I think our receiver room will have a great committee approach. I see a couple of 800-yard guys, a few 500 to 600-yard guys. Mm-hmm. Tight end. I didn't even mention tight end. Tight end, we're elite. Are we super deep? I mean, we got 2 guys that can start on most teams in the country between Mallory and Arroyo. But yeah, and as far as depth, it depends how ready Jaleel Skinner is. I think it's going to take him a little time to build up that body, but he's talented enough that you can line him up wide in the red zone or something like that. So you'll see him play. But to be that guy at tight end and just take over might take another year. But I'm with who we have at quarterback, man. I'm good. Yes, I agree. I'm I'm good with who we have at quarterback. If I see the improvement that I think / hope we see on the offensive line, we could see that production at the skill positions. And then I didn't even mention running back. Running back, we're super deep. Okay. There are a couple positions we're not there yet as far as comparing ourselves to a Georgia or an Alabama who's 4, 5, 6 guys deep across the board. We're multiple levels deep at quarterback, running back. I wouldn't say receiver, even though we have a lot of numbers. They have to prove it to me first on the field. Go out and have a couple of ACC caliber, all ACC seasons or all American seasons next year as sophomores. Then I'll say, okay, we are levels deep at receiver going into 2023. They need to prove it first. Then safety. Love the talent at safety, but how deep are we? You got to keep those guys healthy. Linebacker, we know the issues there. Somebody has to step up. I think someone will. You got Chase, you got Wes, Austin Cave, who put on a lot of good weight. Someone will step up. And then we're going to add a portal guy for sure, at least one, maybe two. Corner, a little thin. A lot of people gave me pushback on this, but I think this kid that we just got from West Virginia is the starter. I mean, aside from maybe to Corey Couch really bouncing back in the offseason, returning to that 2020 form, and also putting on like 10 pounds of muscle, aside from him, I mean, I don't see anybody else playing next to Tyree Stevenson other than this kid, this transfer that we just got. No one, you can't tell me anyone that like convincingly is going to take the job from him. I think it's going to be him, which is fine. I think he's a solid player. He's aggressive. He does get burned every once in a while, but I'll take that. If you're an aggressive player and you make tackles and you make plays, I'll take getting beat every once in a while. I'm fine with that. Al Blades, Marcus Clark. I've always liked Marcus Clark a lot. I've always been a fan of his. I've sung his praises since he got here. He's another guy, kind of like Jacoby and Brinson, but on defense, very smooth, very little wasted motion. I was hoping he'd take the next step last year. He didn't. He has another chance this year. Marcus Clark is a guy that could. Al Blades, I don't think they're going to use him as a corner. I think he's going to be more of or at least a boundary guy. I think he's going to be more of a nickel corner, maybe more like a third safety, when Avonte needs a breather or something, you put Blades out there to crack some helmets. Blades is going to be out there to be tackling people and making plays that way. I don't think he's going to be covering dudes one-on-one. But who knows? As of right now, I think it's I can't remember his name right now, the West Virginia kid that we just got. I think right now he's the starter on the opposite side of Tyreek. But I think with this class, this next recruiting class coming in, I think now you're going to have, because it takes a few cycles. It really does. After this incoming class, you're going to have layers of depth at wide receiver. You're going to be very deep at tight end. You're going to stay deep at quarterback and running back. Daryl Porter Jr., thank you. Thank you, Birdstone. Appreciate it. You're going to be deep at, where else? Maybe safety if we get a couple of elite guys. I mean, you got Markeith Williams already on the team. I think by next cycle coming in, we'll be very deep at safety. But it takes a few cycles. It takes a while. To build the machine that the top 2-3 programs in the country have right now, it takes time. Okay? And we're really just a couple cycles. We're really just like into the second recruiting cycle of, digging those layers. But could we be a contender in the next 2 years? Yeah, because that's like 3 cycles in now with great quarterback play. If we get someone from UF, he starts. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who you're talking about. But if that certain someone is the certain someone that I'm thinking of, then that certain someone, yes, would start. But let's see what happens. Let's give it some time. Man, this is what I hate about the offseason. It's only March 19th, and I want it to start already. Let's see what else. What other comments we got? Yes, he is. All right. So anything else I want to touch on? The D line. It's been a concern for me. Really, lack of star power is the concern at defensive line. I don't think that they can be a. I don't think that they're going to suck. I just think we went from having Phillips and Rousseau and Roche to having guys that I don't think are going to go anywhere near the first round, unfortunately. I could be wrong. Maybe Chance Williams breaks out and has 13 sacks this year and has like 39 TFLs. Who knows? He's got the ability. Maybe with this new coach, with Rob Wright coming in, maybe he can help guide him a little bit. Maybe with this new scheme would help him. But I see Harvey and Williams as like middle round guys, third, fourth round guys. I think that's kind of their ceiling, in my opinion. If they do that, that's good enough because you got Leonard Taylor in the middle, who's a future first, second rounder. That dude's all American caliber. You got to put somebody next to him. Aguda, yes, that's a guy that I would love to land. Yeah, he's got the perfect physique, the perfect body for a Kevin Steele defense. I think he's like 6'5", 250, 6'4", 250, something like that. Big, long, could start on the edge probably. Could he start? He'll at least be in the 2D. He'll be in the rotation. But Mitchell Agude would be a guy that I would love to add and at least give me depth. I'm praying a Phillips, Jermaine Johnson level player hits the portal. I think your prayer is going to be answered. Let me just tell you that, Supreme. I think your prayer is going to be answered. And I think Miami lands at least one of those guys, and they start right away and make an impact. Way too early to tell you if we're going to be like a top 20 defense, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. All right, guys. Let's see. We'll field a couple more. If you guys have a couple more questions or anything else to talk about, I'll be on for maybe like 5 more minutes. Kill my cafecito while you're at it. By the way, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Help me hit that 2,000. My goal ultimately, of course, 10,000 for the year. I've been saying that, and you guys have helped me along the way, so thank you very much, the degenerates especially. But yeah, go hit that like button, subscribe, share it with your friends. Anybody you like talking Canes football with, whether it's March, August, July, December, doesn't matter. We talk Canes football anytime here. Show your friends, let them hit the subscribe button and help me get to that 2K. If we tackle, we will easily be a top 15 defense. I will say this. Going into last year, with the roster we had, I was like, everybody was predicting 9-3, 10-2. I was saying 10-2. The only losses probably being Bama and somebody else. I was saying the reason why is I said this, and I still believe this is true. If last year's 2021 team tackled better, if their tackling improved and the penalties were cut in half, which I don't think was too much to ask for because we were a heavily penalized team. If we could just cut the penalties in half, tackle better, cut the missed tackles in half maybe, or cut it down by like a third, we're a 9-3 team last year, and we probably win the Coastal easily. Just being a more disciplined team. That's it. Not even factoring in TVD taking over and putting in the numbers he put. We easily win. If we tackle better and have less penalties, we don't lose to Virginia. We don't lose to North Carolina. I mean, how many missed tackles led to big plays in the North Carolina game? James Williams, hopefully. That dude, he's elite. I hope he learned from that. I love what James Williams was saying, like the confidence and the swag he's bringing already into the season. I love his interviews. James Williams, that dude. He is that dude. Whatever position he ends up playing, I think it's still going to be safety for now, or like a third safety star position kind of thing. He's going to spend most of his time at safety this year, and he's going to ball. He's going to be an All-American caliber player. I can't wait to see that. So, yes, Andy, we could be a top 15 defense. You're right. Tackling has to improve, which I think Kevin Steele and Coach Strong are going to take a totally different approach to the tackling than the approach we had the last 5-6 years with Coach Diaz. How many players do you think hit or hit the portal? Here's what you meant. Hit the portal, and how many do you think we take? I think, Goon, was it you that said earlier 12 to 13 hit the portal, or 13 to 15? I think 12 to 13 is a good number. I think that many hit the portal at least. And I think we take just under that because I think we're over our scholarships at the moment. So, yeah, we probably take 8, 9 guys, and they're going to be very carefully selected. We're biding our time. We're waiting to see how many uber talented 4 and 5-star, former 5-star guys hit that portal, because it's going to happen with the NIL and all that. It threw a monkey wrench into a lot of teams' plans. So, yeah, that's my answer to that. John, who do you think steps into that right guard or right tackle spot, or are they in the portal? I think right tackle, it's either going to be Campbell if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, it's going to be Justice or someone in the portal. That's the right tackle. Right guard is in-house already. It's going to be Sagapolo or Ja'Kai Clark. I try not to read too much into spring practice, especially the early days. But right now they're using Sagapolo and Clark like kind of interchangeably, center and guard. Don't be shocked if Ja'Kai plays right guard and Sagapolo plays center. Don't be shocked at all. In fact, that's kind of where I see it going. Right tackle, if we don't grab somebody from the portal, yeah, it's either Campbell if he's healthy or Justice Oluwaseun, who has killed it in conditioning and in strength and conditioning, and he's looked good in practice, I've heard. O-line, I've heard, looked a little more physical. So that's great to see, man. And the O-line, whether they add guys from the portal or not, I mean, they already added Logan, but if they add more guys or not, I don't know, but I think that's going to be the unit that you see the biggest jump from. A lot of people say linebacker. It might be linebacker, but I think it's going to be O-line even more than linebacker. All right, guys. Well, I got to log off, but thanks for coming on. Just wanted to talk a little Canes on a Saturday morning. Got 61 in the chat. Please hit the like button, subscribe on your way out. As always, it's all about the U.